Hello and welcome to my video guide for the early access game Myst Survival. The game is available at Steam and this guide is for beginners, and I hope it can make your life a little bit easier in the first hours. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So I will load into the game. I'm already at day 24 and I will first begin to explain how the save game mechanic works. Since I made this video, a new patch already changed the save game mechanic. It is now possible to disable the autosave. This means that the game only and really only saves if you save manually in the menu. This opens the possibility to exit the game without saving. So that means that if you really have messed up or you build something that you don't want to build, you just leave the game and then you continue, and then the game loads into an earlier save game. Of course, it has its downsides, so you have to save before you leave the game if you want to save. So there's no automatically saving if you leave the game, you have to be aware of that. But of course only if you disable autosave. You can leave it on, but then you don't have the possibility to go back. The second thing I want to mention is that the game saves all items as they are. So if you drop things on the ground, like I did with these tires, or with the wood, or whatever item is, the game saves it in that way. So there's no need to store all your items in some containers. So you do not have to craft a lot of lockers in the beginning. The most important thing in my opinion is to choose the right location for your first base. In this game you don't have the possibility to craft large buildings. You have to use cabins and houses that are there. I only found really this one location which is it worth to really start building as a real camp, and this is this house. Actually there is a garage beside and it's just a bug, it's not showing up, but you see the stuff in there. And I want to show you where this house is located, because from this house you can reach all corners of the map within one day and you'll be back in the evening. So I will go back to my starting point in the game and I will show you how you get here from there. And of course you can use another cabin if you want, but I really don't recommend it. Just this house you also have the possibility later to assign NPCs to separate rooms and stuff, and it has a large flat area around it, so you really can later build the walls around it, and that's not true for most of the cabins in the game. So here I am at my starting point. So, and I hope that everyone starts at the point, at least my son did, and I assume that everyone will start at this point. There is no really a choice where to go because you are surrounded by mountains. So there's a large box where you have your first items, but I just want to show you the way. Just go ahead, there's only one way. If you come to this open area where you can choose where to go, go right. You can go left, there you find the first little cabin, but if you want to find this house quick, then just go right. Yeah, you can use this cabin as a camp, but there is no point in it. It's not of good use. So go right until you hit the road. There is a camp, it's abandoned. At least when I arrived there in my game, it was empty. There were no people, no bandits, no NPC, no whatever. And I really can recommend to stay on the roads in the first hours. Don't go too much through the woods because there are bears, and if you are not prepared for them, if you do not have any firepower, they really will injure you. They will most likely they will kill you. So in this game, if you die, you spawn at your last camp, the camp that you set as your base. you will lose some items at the point where you died. You have to go back and collect them again. And if you're injured, you most likely really slowed down. And that so you really try to avoid to get injured as much as you can. So just follow this road. If you want to go to the camp, I'd suggest you will take as your first camp, and that's this white house in the woods. So if you come to this point, there is a little cabin on the left side in the woods. You can use it at a camp. I did use it as a camp, but it's not really a good choice for your main camp for long term. So there's not much space to build, and there are no rooms for your NPCs. For the first 2 nights, whatever, it's okay. But the White House is not that much far, so you can go for the White House directly from the beginning. So in this menu you set whatever cabin you choose as a base. So this cabin has 2 lockers and it has a water barrel. The workbench is actually mine, I built it, so it will not be there if you come here. So I really suggest and I really recommend that you stay on the road and go for the White House as your first camp. It saves you a lot of time. So if you see this motel, you can loot the motel, but be really aware of the fact that there are 3 zombies in the 2nd floor, and if you're not prepared for them, 3 zombies will rip you apart and you will die. So just loot the lower floors and go straight ahead. So at this point you see on the left side in the woods a little camp, and that is a camp of bandits. There are 4 bandits in there. They are heavily armed, and if you're not prepared for them, you will also die. Just come back later when you are well prepared for them. So in this very camp you will later find an NPC called Rachel, and you can kill all the bandits. Then you can open the door to her. You need your crowbar and you can talk to her, and then she will join your team. So here we are on a, I think it's a shop, it's a car shop. There are car parts in it. You can loot this house. There are some valuable items in there, but not much. So just if you come here and you don't have a workbench later, you can craft here things, but it's really not very useful. It's way better that you craft your own workbench in your base camp, and workbenches are not that expensive. So if you come to this point where you see the car on the tree, you already see the White House right there in the woods. Yeah, you're already there, so that's really not far from the beginning. So here you have to be very cautious because there's always a bear. So I try to circle around him. I don't want to fight him right now because I don't want to get injured. I don't have my shotgun with me. So there he is. So I just go around. Yeah, big boy, just leave you alone this time. So, okay. And there you are. There's the house, there's the camp. That's the best location in my opinion, really it is. Believe me. So here you really have flat ground. You can build your wooden walls around, and you can build a lot crafting stuff later on, all your racks, all your workstations. And oh, I saw the garage is back. There it is. That's how it looks. Okay, let's talk about crafting. You can really craft a lot. I wanna give you advice what things you have to craft first without spending too much materials. So you have 2 crafting ways. One is combined with your inventory. You can craft some basic stuff: wood, firewood, lashing, dry meat, some basic arrows, and sleeping bag and bandages. Not much. And there's a second crafting menu. You have to be aware of that. Alright, I actually see the fog is coming. Okay, I will show you the fog. So when the fog is coming, the mist, the fog, whatever you call it, that is time to go in a safe location. I really avoid to stay in the open because there now a lot of zombies are wandering out there. and try to avoid to fight them because there's not much point in it. They don't drop that much loot and you only get injured or even killed, and that's very likely in the beginning. So I always try to stay in my house and just wait till the fog is over. It can take several real life minutes. In game it takes sometimes 2 hours, and I just try to sleep the time. So sometimes it does not work because the zombies are too close, but it often works the most of the time. So now that the fog is gone, it is much safer outside, and now I can show you the crafting menu. So we have a lot to craft. Yeah, we have campfires, we have water purifiers, we have workstations, blacksmiths places, we can build wooden walls, we can really craft a lot. But most of the things you don't need at the beginning. But you need a workbench. That is the first thing you have to craft. So you only need metal scraps, components and some wood, and then you can craft a workbench. So with the workbench you can really craft a lot that you need, like nails, very important, sticks are very important, you need them, leather not so much and matches not so much, but there's a crowbar, that's very important, a bucket, the knife, a basic bow, later you need the bow, arrows for the bow, the quivers for the bow, here's some shirts and wall light. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is the crowbar. That's really important because there is a lot of doors that are really locked and you only can open them with a crowbar or with lockpicks. The gas can is also important, but not that much. So nails are also very important, and you only can craft them with the workbench. You don't find so much nails in the world. And you need the nails later for defending your house. I will show it to you later. So the second important thing is the water purifier. You need a bucket, you need stones, you need metal scraps, and you need firewood. The bucket you can craft with the workbench. And with this water purifier you can craft, or you can provide yourself with clear water, and that's important, and I will later show you how this works. The next important thing is that you get a campfire and a grill. You can actually also build a cooking pot, but that's not that important at the beginning. The grill is more important. You build the campfire and then you set the grill on top of it. And you need this to provide yourself with food. I will later show you how this works. In the cooking pot you can only make some recipes that require vegetable, and you don't have much vegetables, so it's not that useful for cooking food. So yeah, you need a workbench, you need a grill and the campfire, and you need a water purifier at the beginning. With these things you really have covered the basics, so you can stay alive in the first days very easily. So you see here that I store a lot of items just on the ground so that I can see what I have. That's really a lot easier than store them in some containers. Okay, now I will show you, if you have all these things I mentioned before, what you can craft next. You can craft this drying rack. You need this to dry leather and animal guts, and you need these guts dried to craft a bow. Yeah, if you get the guts from the bear, and that's actually the only source of the guts at the moment, then they're not useful. You have to dry them, and that you do with this drying rack. And it actually takes some time till all these guards are really dried. It takes several in-game days. The next thing is the moonshine still. With that thing you can make alcohol, and alcohol you need to make bandages, but it's really not very effective. You only get 2 bottles of alcohol in 24 hours, and with 2 bottles of alcohol you can only make 1 bandage. That you need it. You don't find much bandages, and you need bandages to get rid of bleeding. I will show you later how that works. So later in the game you can craft a blacksmith station. You don't need it in the beginning, but later it's essential. Yeah. You can melt metal scraps into metal bars, and you can craft some tools here and even some weapons later. But you don't need that at the beginning, so don't worry about it at this point. The next thing I want to explain are vehicles. Yeah. When I made this video, vehicles were not much of a use because car batteries drain way too fast. As you see here, there's a little bug with the doors, but it's not important. The car works. And with some later patches, the car batteries were fixed. They don't drain. They only get damaged if you crash into something or you get shooted. So now cars are really useful. So if you see this sign above a car, that means you can use this car, but you have to repair it first. You have to find parts in other cars and loot them and then install them in that car. So you also need fuel. You find it in other cars. Yeah, you can loot items and fuel from other cars, and then you have to install it here. You need a battery, an engine, sparks, and tires. So if you found them, you install them here. You usually find enough engine and sparks, and batteries not so much, but like I said, at the moment the batteries don't drain, so you can use them a long time. So what makes cars so useful is that they have a trunk. And be aware of the fact that a station wagon has a bigger trunk than a limousine. You have 25 inventory slots, and this is very useful. So if you want to repair a car, if you want to rebuild a car or repair a car, take a station wagon. So now you see the bug is gone, the car looks like a car, and that's usually the way it is. Installing and looting items out of cars takes time. So taking the tire out will cost 10 minutes in-game time. That's a general in-game mechanic. A lot of actions will cost you a lot of time. Putting the tire back into the car also takes 10 minutes. So, to put fuel into your car or to get fuel out from a car, you just put the gas can into that slot and then you click either fill can or either fill the tank. But there are a lot of more cars out there that you can loot, not only the cars that you can repair. Most cars that are lootable have this look. They are rusty and you can open door, hood and trunk. And the cars that look white or a little bit newer, they're not lootable. Let's now cover wood. Wood is a very important resource, and how should it be? You get it by chopping down trees. You take your axe and you chop down a tree. It takes a lot of stamina and it takes a lot of clicking, so don't expect to chop a lot of trees in a minimum amount of time. You get 4 different resources out of a tree. You get leaves, you get branches, and you get bark. On this tree I do not get bark, I don't know why. Okay, leaves, branches, and you get logs. Most trees give 2 or 3 logs. So I have to chop down another one to show you bark. There you go, bark. And bark is very important because you need it for different actions. You need it for your campfire, you need it for the water purifier, and you need it to make some ropes. You loot the logs like regular items, and then you can process them further into firewood or boards. To make firewood you can build this stump. It's not that expensive. It's not mandatory, but it's not expensive, so you can just build it. It really accelerates the time that you craft firewood. You just select how many logs you want to craft into firewood and just click craft. You can only craft boards. You get 4 boards out of 1 log, and it takes 45 in-game minutes. So this really takes a long time, and you need a lot of boards. Especially if you start building wooden walls later on. But you also need boards for your defense, and I will show you how. The house has 4 entry points for zombies. They attack these boards when they want to come inside. You have time to shoot them or to fight them, but they are really quick at tearing that defense down, so you have to repair it. And to repair this defense you need boards and you need nails, and that's why you need a workbench to repair your defense. So to craft nails, you just need metal scraps and some components, so they're not that expensive, but you just need nails. Yeah, you will not get far without them. And you need more nails later if you start building your wooden walls around your camp. You need a lot of nails. If the defense is down and you want to repair it, you have to spam the key. You don't just click the key, you have to spam the key, and you just nail the boards back to the window, and the defense goes up in steps of 20%. So now let's cover food and water. The first few days you really get along with all the cans you find. You find a lot of Coca-Cola, you find a lot of beef in cans, and that's okay. But long term you need a reliable source of water and a reliable source of food. And the water purifier is very easy to use. You just need to get dirty water from the lake, put it in here, start this water purifier, and you get out 4 bottles of clear water. Actually, this is kind of bugged because the water purifier not only gives you water, it gives you the bottles with the water. So after a while you really have a lot of bottles, and I don't think that's supposed to be that way, but it is. So you just get your empty bottles, go to the lake and fill them with the water. Luckily we have a lake just behind our beautiful house, but always check out if there's a bear or some bandits. So you just go to the lake, you click the key and you just fill the bottles. It's very easy, it takes time, but it's not that complicated. So if you're back, you just need firewood, you need bark and you need matches. You can make your own matches with the charcoal from your campfire, but I never had problems to find matches, so I guess there's no need to make them on your own. So here you see the water purifier made this bottle with water. In order to start the process, you just fill in the dirty water into the water purifier. It can contain 16 liters. So I will do it with 8 liters, just for showing you. So we need more bark. Luckily I have some bark in the house. And bark is very rare, I found. You get a lot of leaves, a lot of branches, but you do not get much bark, and bark is very useful, so you have to farm bark from time to time. You only need to have the matches, the bark and the wood in your inventory. You don't need to put them in there, you just have to have them in your inventory. Then you start distill and the thing works on its own. And after some time, the bottles with water appear in the lower 4 slots. So one of these bottles can get you through 1 or even through 2 days. Okay, so now let's get some food. And that's why we built this grill. So we want to get a chicken and we want to make us some chicken wings. There are always 2 or 3 chickens in the surrounding of the house. Oh, here's some loot on the way. This sometimes spawns, so always look out for loot on the way. So where's the chicken? There it is. So at the moment, if you shoot something, it does not attract some animals or some bandits. You can shoot like you want. So that's a chicken you just collected like an item, and you go back to your house. Now we have to butcher it. So that's the harvest menu for. So you put your chicken in it, you have to have your knife in your inventory, and you get meat, fat and feathers. Harvesting a chicken takes 1 hour in game. So you get 5 chicken wings out of 1 chicken. That's a lot. So now let's grill them. You have to start the fire. You need bark again. Like I said, bark is very important. You can use an accelerant, you don't have to. You need matches and you need firewood. The matches and the bark and accelerant stay in the campfire. It's like inventory slots, and the wood is used. You cannot start the fire without bark. I did not find any other item that would work. It's only bark. That's annoying, but you need bark. So now you ignite the fire. and you see we get charcoal out of it, so we can later make our own matches. But like I said, I didn't need it until now. So now let's put the chicken wings on the grill. But stay on the grill and look out for the wings, because they can burn like in real life. I will show you on one chicken wing how it looks like if it is burned. So just wait till they turn brown and then take them off. It takes only a few seconds, so there you go. Already done. Okay. I will show you one black one. So with these chicken wings, you get along 1 or even 2 days. And eat them first before you eat canned beef or some other stuff, because they spoil a lot faster than the cans. So eat them first. And if the chicken is burned, if it is black, it gives you less hunger on your bar when you eat it. So watch out that the chickens do not burn. It's not that dramatic, but it's just wasted. So just let me show you. Look at the bar. That was a black one. And now look at the bar. That was a regular one. There's a big difference. So don't waste it. So, but there are not only chickens, there are also bears, and you can also get meat from bears. But the important thing that you can get from bears are guts and leather. Yeah? And you need guts to make your bow. You need dried guts to make your bow, but you need guts first to dry them. And that's why you at some point have to hunt down the bear. But it's more likely that a bear will hurt you. So I recommend that you go hunting a bear with a shotgun, or later with a bow with hunting arrows. And I'm just thinking, I will show you. Okay, let's get hunt the bear. I hope this will work with my gun, because I do not have any shotgun shells at this point. It should work. So where's the bear? And if I get injured, I can show you the injured system. So where he is. There he is. Okay. So let's see if that works. Okay, now it's empty. I have to use the axe. Okay, it worked. But I get injured. I get 2 bleeding wounds. You see it here. And if you don't treat them with a bandage, you simply will bleed out and you will die. So I have to be fast with treating my wounds. I have to use bandages. So, but I was not quick enough. I died, like you see there. So that's how it works. If you die, you will lose the loot on the location where you died, and you have to get it back. And some tools lose durability. That's the penalty for dying in this game. But because we were not that far from the house, it's not a big deal this time. So we have to go back. And as you see, if you get revived, your wounds are automatically treated. You see it on the green bandage around your wounds, and the bleeding will stop. But if you're injured, you have to be careful. If you take too many actions like sprinting or chopping down trees, there is a red bar filling up on that picture, and if it's completely filled, then the wound gets worse. So be careful to not sprint too much or to chop down too much trees, and always look out for the little icon so that you not get worse. Okay, we can loot our items back, and then I can show you how to butcher the bear and to get the guts. So actually you need to have your knife in your inventory. I don't have my knife, but I only want to show you how this works, so I don't need it. So you can choose different tools and different parts of the animal to butcher, but there's only one part. You get guts and leather and meat and fat, and that's the part. The problem with the bear is that if you want to butcher it completely, it takes a ridiculous amount of time. It takes about 8 hours to completely butcher the animal and to get out all the parts you want. So I recommend concentrate on the guts and the leather, and for food you go for chickens. It's less dangerous and it's more effective. The chicken only needs 1 hour to harvest for 5 chicken wings, and the bear, you see it takes 8 hours to completely butcher it, and that's too long. Okay, I guess that's about it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will show more videos on my channel about this game in the future. So see you next time.